Not too long ago, I asked all the member boys which of the different video ideas I got that they think would be good. After all, them boys is the ones that be donating their teeth to the channel, so I figured I'd ask them. And between doing a video talking about what orks eat, what is the pulsar rocket, the big one, not that really dinky one that we got now, and a video of what I don't think the beast is really all that orky. Well, for you kids who knows what the beast is, you might be talking well thinking that I just got a bit mental with that there statement. And sure enough, that's what a lot of the boys want to hear about. So, hear about it you eats. Cause I don't care what you kids say, the beast may be the biggest boss there ever's been ever, but I think he ain't all that orky upstairs if you catch me drift. So then, to explain what I don't think the beast is really all that orky, I'll need to explain to the kids that don't have the lore know what exactly the beast is. So, way back in the long before times of many years ago, there was this great big scrap between the big war boss Urk and a bunch of beakies on this here planet called Ulanor. There was the dog beakies, the lucky beakies, the waza beakies, and a bunch of humie gargants. Not only that, but all the beakies' big war bosses themselves were at the fight. And Urk put up a good fight, but you know how it goes. The beakies won the big scrap and apparently wouldn't shut their zog up about it for Gork and Mork knows how long. But many years later, the big beaky war master Git apparently got stabbed or something with some kind of chopper, and he thought that the Humie war god would forget about him or something. So that kid joined the weird warp gods and started their own war against the other Humies, then died when they fought that Emperor War God King. But you see, while all that stupid Humie stuff was going on, the orks on Ulanor mobbed back up and got bigger and bigger and bigger. And by the time that many years had come, the beast started crumping every Humie planet across the entire galaxy. It was fucking great. In fact, the beast crumped so far into Humie territory that one of the beast's attack moons was able to do a subspace jump right in front of the Humie's home planet. Oh, that's right. I bet you kids don't even know what an attack moon is, eh? Well, unlike rocks, which is like meteors that orks is looted to turn into spaceships, attack moons is, well, moons that orks looted and turned into big sogging cruiser ships. But even bigger than cruiser ships. These sogging looted moon ships was so big that when they pop in from teleporting through subspace, any planets what was next to them, well, they weren't there for very long. See, due to gravitational upheavals of two celestial bodies rubbing too close together, well, imagine if one planet was able to crush another with a gravity hammer. Yeah, that's basically what happened. But that's not all. Attack moons, you see, well, these could also eat other planets. Yeah, after smacking up a planet what was near them, the attack moon would suck up all the planet chunks that were left and made the attack moon even bigger. And so basically, they could loot entire planet pieces. But of course, attack moons ain't nothing without weapons. Cause they got this thing called a gravity whip, which, like Rotterd's whipping cheeky grots and the like, the attack moon's gravity whip would crush and chop up entire fleets of Humie cruisers. Took a gajillion gigawatts of juice to power, but Gork's tusks was an amazing sight. Finally, attack moons ain't just ships, but rather, they's just anchor points for more ships and attack moons to teleport through subspace to get where they needs to go. And while that ain't instantaneous, all the beast's other attack moon cruisers and all the boys in the war were able to get wherever they needed to through an attack moon what was using their snazzy new way of transportation.
Hey, but boss, what's that got to do with the beast?
Horses getting there, you runt! The people at home needs context for later. Anyway, when the attack moon showed up to the Yumi's home planet, the base sent out a boy to tell the Yumis that they's his right zogged and told them to give up. To quote, the base has you by the guts, they said. Struggle, he'll rip them out. Surrender, you gets to keep them. And with Yumis being Yumis, being unable to understand reason, they decided to fight back against Water Beast. They got the Yumi war boss Vulcan to invade Ulanor and the beast capital city of Gorgogrod. But like all Yumis do, they underestimated the beast and his boys who, instead of attacking head-on, ambushed the beakies from all the different shacks and buildings in the area. More on that later. Eventually, War Boss Vulcan finally found the beast inside of the beast temple garden. Okay, I swear on me shooter I won't go on too much this time, but the temple garden saw me. You know how orks has got stompers, which is smaller than gargants, which is smaller than great gargants, which is smaller than mega gargants? With them big Yumi building stompers being about the same size as a mega gargant? Well, take that Yumi War God's Emperor's Palace. That big building that's the size of a few mountains put together? Well, now give it big old stumpy feet and more gargant than any gargant's ever had before. That is the Zolkin Temple Gargant. Oh, well, I wouldn't give to point at something like that. Anyway, so the boss Vulcan eventually found the beast, an orc so big that they made knobs look like snutlings, with teeth as big as tree trunks. They stood 5 Yumi stories tall. There was a big old scrap that broke out between the two, and only ended when War Boss Vulcan and the beast fell into the main reactor of the Temple Garden. And Yumis and boys alike saw the biggest boom that they'd ever see again. Now, the Yumis thought they won, but being stupid Yumis, they fought wrong. Cause there wasn't just one base, but 6 Primeorks they was called. And we know for a fact that one of them Primeorks was a great big Death Skulls boss, as the Yumis would describe them as, quote, as big as a small gargant. A single arm of the Primeork had looted battle cannons, looted Yumi auto cannons, Yumi rocket launchers, Yumi burners, and all manner of other Yumi Dakka on one arm, and on the other, they had a massive power hammer that was taller than a beaky. Yeah, looting Yumi Dakka, looting Yumi beating sticks, that's Death Skulls through and through. But there's more. They wore patchwork armor and blue face tattoos and was accompanied by a mob of massive orcs with Death Head symbol. Blue skulls, yeah, these is Death Skulls, no doubt. But then, there was the Beast of Beasts, the biggest Primeork. The Yumis thought these was a statue until they started moving. But this beast, they had armor what was covered in black and white checks and dags, with big talking horns on their helmet, with a dead-on mask on their face that had them, them big red rocks, rubies, right, all over that mask. Biggest of big, checks and dags, horns? Yeah, that's Golfs right there, that is. Sadly, the Yumis eventually won only because they cheated, like the little runts they is. They was able to get an orc weird boy and use their never-speaking curvy Yumis to make some kind of ritual that created what I can only call an inverse war. Because basically, all the boys' heads exploded all over the planet, well past Gorgogrod, including the Primeorks. Now's the fucking way to go, says I. However, orcs has got the last laugh, because while the Yumis wanted to blow up Gorgogrod and Ulanor, some Yumi mech boy wanted to learn how Primeorks was able to teleport attack moons through Subspace instead of to warp. So, that red-robed Yumi mech boy teleported into some kind of secret place, and 1 plus many years later, that planet became Armageddon. And if you need to understand why that's important for orcs, well, Go read about the prophet of Gorkenwalk Gaskell Meg Uruk to understand. Now, at this point you might be thinking, what, Glitzdakka, how can you say that the beasts and the Primeorks ain't ORKY? They's is bigger than Yumi's shacks. They got attack moons that can crop entire fleets of Yumi cruisers and even Zolgan planets. They fought the biggest humans that they could, the Zolgan Primeorks. They were so dead-on and so killy that they almost stomped out every single Yumi in the galaxy. Well, my fallen kids, I never did say that they was bad at crumping or looting all across the galaxy, cause they Zolgan werewolves. But you see, something ain't sitting right in me brain. Something's conflicting inside me. Because it's not what they did that got me scratching my bones. It's how they think. Cause as far as I could see it, the Primeorks was thinking like humies and not so much like orks. So let's talk about them attack moons for a mo, eh? I did talk a lot about them, but I needed to tell you gits all of that stuff so you can understand what I mean when I says the attack moons ain't that ORKY and is in fact boring. You all said it, what you gonna do? Firstly, unlike every other ork cruiser or ship that flies through the warp, attack moons fly through subspace. And based on what ours has been able to read, subspace is Zolgan boring cause there ain't nothing there. I want you to imagine more boys than you gits can even think of, all of them in one of them attack moons, moving through subspace, and there ain't nothing to do. So these Zolgan great mobs of boys just kinda sit around and ain't able to do anything. They're Zolgan boring. Now compare that to traveling through the warp on literally any other ork ship. Cause in the warp, there's always something to do, or more specifically, always something to fight. See, traveling through the warp is the best, cause while you's on your way to a planet to smash, you get in-flight entertainment in the form of crumping some space demon gribblies or even demon beakies. It's like, I heard you likes fighting, so we gave you fighting while you's on your way to fighting. That's the Zolgan best. And not to mention, Gork and Mork live in the Zolgan warp. And the best way to get from one place to another is with them guiding you to whatever crumping they want you to go to. So, not only does this here subspace thingy ain't got nothing to fight in, but Gork and Mork ain't even anywhere to be seen. And this is no travel for orks. It's all safe and boring. It sounds like Yumi transportation to me. And speaking of them attack moons, these Zolgan things are so big that they can look at a planet and smash them up good, right? And they got them gravity whips that can crump up Yumi cruisers good proper, right? So, let me ask you something then. What do the boys get to fight, eh? Why in Gork's great grin is we letting the planet doing all the crumping? What's the boys supposed to do while the attack moons is doing all the fighting? Sit around scratching their ass? That ain't no fun. The whole point of transportation is to get all the boys and dreads and stompers and gorgons from one place that they ain't fighting at to a place where they can fight. If the Zolgan planet's already Zolgan blowing up, then where's is the boys supposed to go? Where's is they supposed to fight? Again, this is like Yumi thinking, what with their cowardice of sitting behind their guns the entire time, shooting at gits from miles and miles away. Instead, you got the attack moons doing all the work while the boys don't get to have any fun. That ain't ORKY thinking. And speaking of not thinking like orks, how about we talk about them ork diplomats for a mo, eh? Oh, sold me, it's painful to put them two words together, because what Zolgan sense do they even make? What kind of orks thinks to themselves, hey, we should let the humans decide whether Dace is gonna fight, or Dace is gonna give up before we get to fight? Give up before we Zolgan fight? Is you mental? That just means that there ain't no fight. Orks is not fighting, it just don't make any Zolgan sense. Why would you let the Yumis decide whether or not you gets to fight or not? Just Zolgan fight! You got a Zolgan attack moon full of boys and dreads and knots and stoppers. I just fight, you Zolgan idiots! All yous is doing is just wasting time. Finally, this is a bit that I didn't mention before, but I always hear humies talking about this when it comes to the War of the Beast. So apparently, there was some beaky pain boy that came across a big pen of humies on an orc-controlled world that I don't fucking care to look up. You can look it up yourself. But when this beaky pain boy saw these pinned up humies, they saw that these humies ain't got no hair, no teeth, or nails, nothing. Dumb as a squig to boot, not being able to talk proper, and just opened their sulking gobs when light was shined on them like it was feeding time or something. And when they got an even closer look, they found that these here weird humies had a brand on them in the shape of a snake. And after taking a sample of the weird humies' blood, they discovered that, well, I presume the snakebite orcs was pumping them full of growth juice just to make them fatter. Essentially, these here snakebites was breeding humies for eating. Are you fucking kidding me with this? Alright, first of all, breeding humies to eat? Bleh. Have you fucking seen what humies eat? It's raw disgusting, it is. That's why I stick to free-range squeaks. And secondly, I heard that these beakies find a bunch of humie skins out drying in the sun to turn into leather for boots and things for orcs. What the zog would you use humie skin for that? Do you have any understanding about how weak and thin humie skin is? You's just gonna make boots out of humie skin, these is gonna be falling apart in less than a day. Again, that's why I only wear squig hide. That stuff lasts for Zolkin ever. And thirdly, breeding and farming humies is such a Zolkin waste of time. Listen, let me explain something to you. Orcs do exactly 3 things. Orcs fight, orcs win, and orcs loot what they find in order to win. See, orcs will loot anything that they find after a fight so they can get ready and get to the fight even faster, right? Like, when orcs loot a humie tank or battle wagon, they loot it so they've got something new and something killy that they can use to the next fight. And when orcs loot humies themselves, they use the humies to do whatever work needs done so boys can get ready for the next fight, right? Orcs loot. They take what they can get from the gits that they was fighting and use that to get fighting again. This is the true orky way. Then why is they wasting time and resources zogging farming humies that can't do anything except be zogging terrible food and zogging terrible leather? We's is orcs. Everything we need, we already got. Need food? We got squigs, snotlings, grots, mushrooms. We got it. You need leather? Squigs, mate, squigs. You'd think that the snakebites and their beliefs in the old ways of old zogging orcs would understand that the right proper way to be orky is to eat squigs and work grots and humies. That's the natural way of it. But no, apparently these snakebites, well, these is using some kind of pain boy to drug up all these humies to make them stupid and useless just so we could eat them and turn them into leather. Hey, I got an idea. How about we eat the mushrooms and squigs that we got and use the humies for work so the boys can go talk and fight? Instead, the Primeorks is once again acting like a bunch of humies that farm their weird squigs just for eating and leather, spending way too much time and way too many resources for that instead of fighting! And so me, they can't even get fighting right! When War Boss Vulcan showed up on Ulanor, did the beast charge in, guns blazing, choppers ready, like good proper orcs? No! They use sulking blood axe tactics! They hid inside the buildings and ambushed all them beakies like a bunch of sulking cowards! Alright, I've been yelling for like 20 minutes, so I hope you kids can understand what I was getting at. Do I think that the beast and the Primeorks is dead-eyed and dead killy? Abso-zoggin-lutely. But, is they orky? I don't know, kids, I don't know. I think they's is thinking way too much like humies, cause they waste so much zogging time and resources when they could just be crumping with the boys, keeping it simple, and all their big ships and weapons to all the crumping for the boys. So where's this organ fun and day? I don't know. What do you gits think? Let me know in them comment boxes below, and a big thanks to all the boys, knobs, and bosses that keep throwing their teeth at me, so Oz can keep telling you about the orks. Use this right and proper in my book, you gits. Unlike them primorks. But anyway, thanks for watching, you gits, and as always, sub up and sog off!